Shalom, shalom, Yahshua. All praises to the Most High, to his beloved Son, the root of David, Hamashiach Yahushai. All praises to the Most High through Hamashiach Yahushai. Shalom to the entire family. Shalom to all of you. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome to Life or Death. Let's start with the book of Colossians, the 3rd chapter, at the 17th verse. The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Adon Hamashiach, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him. The Most High commands us to do everything to him via Hamashiach Yahushai. Now let's go to the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 5. The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 5. For there is one power and one mediator between the Most High and men, the man Hamashiach Yahushai. Through Hamashiach, we have access again to the Father. Now let's go to the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 1. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of the Most High. This is the book of the commandments of the highest. And the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life. Meaning, if we keep the laws of Yah, if we apply them in our life, we will have life. We will be a living, breathing, we will be living, breathing creatures. We will be living, breathing creatures. But such as live it shall die. Meaning, the minute we stray away from the laws of Yah, we are to expect evil happenings to come on our ways. We are to expect death. Hence, the name of this class, the name of your show, Life or Death. Shalom to all of you. Shalom to all of you. You all know this is your class. This is your show. Shalom to all of you. Welcome to Life or Death. Make sure you like or dislike the class. Shalom, 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 shalom. It is now 9:58. From 9:58 all the way to 10:05. Let's do 10:05. Let's do the welfare check. Shalom to all of you. Shalom, 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 shalom. Let us do the welfare check. Currently in Florida now, we are in a new time zone. So we had to put our clock 1 hour ahead. Shalom to you, brother Donizo Tamid. Shalom, my dear brother Abanawa Yahweh Bahashem, Hamashiach Yahweh Shabakatha. 5 of you are watching. Shalom to all of you. Shalom, shalom. So far, how is the new week? So far, how is the new week? My dear brother, how is it in Trinidad and Tobago? How is everything currently in Trinidad and Tobago. How is everything? The title of the class tonight is Unity and Division Within the Church. Unity and division within the church. For the David Way 40 to 59, you put pretenders on parade. Mighty brother, what does that mean? This is my first time seeing you in the chat. Shalom, mighty brother, shalom. What does that mean? For the David Way fantasy names, they will pay for. Who is Zion? Who is Zion? Basically, whenever you say Zion, you say Israel. We are the true Israelites. We are the real Jews. What Tamid says, Captain Yakanan, my new week has been good so far. Unlike the Middle East, Trinidad is pretty much quiet these days. My brother, all praises to Yahweh Mashiach. May his name be glorified. Brother David Way says, what is the Israelite blessing called? Basically, we have the Shemai that we find in the book of, in fact, let's get it very quick. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. Open your book, all of you. Open your Bible in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. The book Deuteronomy means second law or second introduction of the law. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Most High, meaning the Lord, our power, our God is one Lord. Now let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 29. The book of Mark, the 12th chapter, and the 29th verse. And Hamashiach and Jesus and Hamashiach answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord Yahweh, our God, our power is one Lord, is one power, meaning Shema Yahshua Yahweh, Allah Hainawa, Yahweh Akkad. Hear, O Israel, the Most High is our power, the Most High is one. That is our credo, that is our credo. And whenever we are blessing the people, children of Israel, we go in the book of Numbers, chapter 6. So, my dear brother, Brother David Way, I am glad that you have some contention with us, that's fine. But for your information, know that we, so-called blacks, descendants of the male slaves, so-called Hispanics, descendants of the male Indians, will Native Americans, will Seminole Indians, and those who are scattered in the diaspora, we were, we are, and will always be the real and true Jews of the Most High. We were, we are, and will always be the true Jews, the real Jews that the Bible speaks of. Title of the class is Division and Unity Within the Church. What does that mean? What do you see by this title? Brother David Way, Brother Donizo Tamid, what do you see by this title? What do you see? What does this title entail? Unity and division within the church. The word church means gathering. Let's take the Light of Zion, for instance. We are among the churches of the Most High. In fact, let's go to the book of Revelation chapter 1, and let's see what Hamashiach Yahawashai, Christ, let's see what he commissioned, or let's see what he ordered John to do. What the Tamid says, I have the gate key of heaven, ha ha ha. One course fits all start there. Well, my dear brother, the cross was an instrument of punishment that the Romans used to crucify us. So we see cross now as a burden, meaning that it is something that we have to endure. That's the way we see it. Revelation chapter 1. Brothers who are in the chat, Brother David Way is, as long as he does not say anything that is not, basically, he's not using any profanity. He's not doing anything that can endanger the channel. Don't time him out. As long as he does not use any profanity, nor any issue that is outside of the guidelines of YouTube, let him be. We welcome any division. We welcome any contention in this class, in this classroom. Don't time him out as long as he stays respectful. Let's see what the Most High commanded John to do. Hamashiach, in this, Hamashiach, what the Most High inspired him to commission, to order to John. John is called the beloved disciple of Hamashiach Yahawashai. The book of John, the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 11. Start verse 10. Let us start verse 10. Revelation 1 and verse 10. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and he behind me a great voice, as of a trumpet, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia. Write in a book and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia. So the Most High through Mashiach is not dealing with only one church. So when we say within the church, we can also encompass Israel in this, meaning that all the camps that are currently in Israel, all the schools, Now, we are limiting this to the land of Zion or to a school, but we can extend this to the entire family of Israel. Unity and division within the church, part 1. Now, Hamashiach commended John to write that letter to these 7 churches. Meaning that in that letter, as you go along, you will see that in the letter that he sent to the different churches, he encouraged them on what they were doing good, and he rebuked them on what they were doing that were bad. Now, for us, the title of the class tonight is Unity and Division Within the Church. We are going to the book of Acts, chapter 16. Remember, this class is your class. Brother David says, Most High, in the eternal, I unite the universe, holy truth alive. My dear brother David, let us refrain from using all capital, because when you use all capital, it signals that you are yelling. So we are very respectful here. Make sure that you don't tap in all capital, my dear brother. Let us be respectful one to another. Acts chapter 16. Who is the author of the book of Acts? Acts of the Apostles. Who wrote this book? Who wrote the book of the Acts of the Apostles? Who is the author of that book? Yes, Luke. Yes, Luke is the author of that book. The book of Acts, chapter 16 and verse 9. Acts chapter 16, verse 9. And a vision appeared to Paul in the night. There stood a man of Macedonia and prayed him, saying, Come over into Macedonia and help us. And after he had seen the vision, immediately we endeavored to go into Macedonia, assuredly gathering that the Most High had called us for to preach the gospel unto them. So when you see that we have brothers that go out to teach, we are doing it the same way our forefathers were doing it. Verse 11, therefore, loosing from Troas, we came with a straight course to Samothracia, and the next day to Neapolis, and from thence to Philippi, which is the chief city of that part of Macedonia, at a colony, and we were in that city abiding certain days. Philippi was a city that had a bunch of veterans that were living in that area. And that city had special recognition from the Roman Empire. Basically, the emperor at that time, Emperor Augustus, he favored the city of Philippi. As a result, many of the people there, they thought that they were Roman citizens. Many of them, they were high-minded. Now, we had some of our people that were there. Now, these brothers and sisters, Paul went there and taught them. According to what scholars say, they say that the church in Philippi was the first church that Paul founded in Eastern Europe. It may be true, it may be not, but according to what we do know so far, Paul founded that church. Now, when Paul was in jail in Rome, they wrote Paul a letter. No, they sent some money for Paul. Now, Paul later on sent that letter to them. Let's go to the book of Philippi, chapter 1. Philippians chapter 1. Philippians chapter 1. Paul and Timotheus, the servants of Hamashiach, to all the saints in Hamashiach Yahushai, which are at Philippi, with the bishops and deacons. Grace be unto you, and peace from the power our Father, and from the Adon Hamashiach Yahushai. I thank the Most High upon remembrance of you, always in prayer for mine, for you, making all requests with joy. In verse 4, what is Paul doing here? Remember, the title of the class is Unity and Division Within the Church. Brother David Way, we are in the book of Philippians chapter 1, verse 4. What is Paul doing here? In fact, let's 4 and 5. Take your time, brothers. Take your time, sisters. We are in the book of Philippians chapter 1, verse 4 and 5. Paul says, always in every prayer of mine for you, making all requests with joy for your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now. Paul he made it. What is Paul saying here, Brother David Way? Brother David Way, stay with us in the class, brother. Stay with us in the class. Philippians, we are in the book of Philippians chapter 1, verse 4. Philippians chapter 1, verse 4. Always in every prayer of mine for you, all making request with joy. Now, for him to make request with joy, we can say that he loved the people of Philippi. We can see that the people of Philippi and Paul, they were in one accord in some ways. David Way says, Lord's guys killed him. Yes, we partook in the death of Mashiach Yahushai. And guess what? Now that we are repented, the Most High through Mashiach forgives us for that sin. We are in verse 5. For your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now. The word gospel means good news. Now, my question for you is that the people that you first met when you come to your respective assembly, how is your relationship with them now? Are you still buddy with them? That's why the title of the class is Unity and Division Within the Church. Unity and division within the church, meaning that we know that wherever people are, there will be unity and division. That's the way it is. What David Way says, 1,000 years to a day with Yah. Did you know that? Yeah, my brother, we all know that, brother. We all know that, brother. Brother, let's stay in the class. All these things, we know them, brother. Let's stay in the class. The title of the class is Unity and Division Within the Church. Because we know that we so-called blank people that are into the truth, oftentimes we expect everything to be rosy. We believe in perception. Oftentimes we do not acknowledge reality. Reality and perception are two different things. Verse 6, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Hamashiach Yahushai. Verse 12, of verse 9. And this I pray, that your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge and in all judgment, that ye may approve things that are excellent, that ye may be sincere and without offense, till the day of Hamashiach, being filled with the fruits of righteousness, being filled with the fruits of righteousness. Righteousness is the keeping of the laws of Yah. Righteousness is the keeping of the commandments. Righteousness is the abiding in the laws of Yah. Elder Masha Shalom, sir. Abanawa Yahweh Bahashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shabrakatha. Shalom, Elder. Verse 11, being filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Hamashiach Yahushai, unto the glory and praise of Yah. But I would ye should understand, brethren, that the things which happened unto me have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel. Now, Paul wrote the book of Philippians where? Where was Paul when he wrote that book? But I would ye should understand, brethren, that the things which happened unto me have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel. Meaning, everything that is happening to me or that happened to me, they happened for the word of Yah to move forward. They happen so that the gospel can have full course. We have 5 books in the Bible. I refer to them as ECP to the power of 2, or ECP squared. E stands for one book. C stands for another book. P stands for one book, and the other P stands for another book. What are these 5 books? Brother David Way, what are these 5 books? They call them prison epistles. Why? Because Paul wrote them when he was in jail. Let's see the first one here. Let's see one here. So that my bones, Philippians 1 verse 13, so that my bones in Hamashiach are manifest in all palace and in all other places. What are these 5 books? They call them prison epistles. Why? Because Paul, he wrote them while he was in jail. That is why we should not take the truth lightly. Many of our elders suffered for this. Therefore, in no way, shape, or form or fashion are we to allow division to mess up the assembly. Yes, we may have an issue with one brother or an issue with one sister, but guess what? We are to come together and deal with that issue or these issues. The book of Philippians chapter 1 and verse 14. And many of the brethren in the Most High, waxing confident by my bonds. So his imprisonment helped a lot of people. Why? While he was in jail, guess what? People benefited from him. Because while he was there, he was able to preach the gospel to those who were there. The one preach, verse 15, no, verse 14, and many of the brethren in the Most High, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. So those that were free, guess what? They had more strength to teach the word of Yah. Now, my question for you is, are you bold to let other people know that we are the real Jews? Are you bold enough to let them know that the kingdom of heaven belongs to us, real Jews? You may see that right now among certain conservative voices or voice, they are debating about who the real Jews are. Israel, never be ashamed to say that you are the real Jews. In no way, shape, or form or fashion are we to be ashamed to call ourselves Jews. Yes, we were, we are, and will always be the real Jews that the Bible speaks of. Philippians chapter 1, verse 16. The one preach Hamashiach, verse 15. Some indeed preach Hamashiach, even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. Meaning, you may have, yes, brother, during this time, my dear brother, yes, you put Ephesians. Remember, I said, I refer to them as ECP squared, meaning that ECPP, meaning that E stands for one book, C stands for another book, P for one book, and the P for another book. Let me give you a hint. Philemon is part of them. Which one is the other one? Philemon is part of them. When Paul was in jail, he wrote 4 letters. One starts with E. The second one, another one starts with C. And the other 2 starts with P. I give you one, Philemon. He wrote Philemon while he was in jail. Now, what are the 3 other books? 10 of you are watching. Make sure you like or dislike the class. Philippians chapter 1, verse 15. Some indeed preach Hamashiach, even of envy and strife. Meaning, you can see in the family that people are doing things out of strife, but yet they are still preaching Hamashiach. That's fine. That is fine. The one preach Hamashiach of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds. Verse 17. But the author of love, knowing that I'm set for the defense of the gospel. Let's see what the Most High says here. The book of 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8. Let's see what the Most High says in this book here. 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Meaning, whatever we do, we may think that we are doing it against the truth, but the Most High will turn it into a good thing for the furtherance of the gospel. The word of God has to move forward. So all the divisions that you see that are going on within the schools and also within Israel, the Most High through Hamashiach Yahushai is using them for the furtherance of the gospel. Let's go back to Philippians. Yes, Philippians is one among the books. The prison epistles are Ephesians. Yes, Ephesians, Colossians, Philippians, and Philemon. Yes, these are the 4 books that are called prison epistles. Why? Because Paul wrote them while he was in bondage. Let's go back to Philippians. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 1. No, verse 2. Philippians 2 and verse 2. Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. In that sense, he is saying that let us see things with the very same eyes, meaning that let us put our mind on the same things, such as the fruits of the Spirit, the commandments of Yah. Some of you have preferred colors. For some people, they prefer the color black. Some prefer the color blue. That is fine. But when it comes to keeping the commandments of Yah, we ought to be of the same mind. When it comes to keeping the Sabbath day holy, we ought to be of the same mind. When it comes to doing our best to further the gospel, we ought to be of the same mind. Why? Romans 15. Let's start with Romans 15 and verse 4. The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Verse 5, now the power of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one toward another according to Hamashiach Yahushai. We have to be in one mind to further the gospel. Verse 14, Romans 10, verse 14. Why? Romans 10, verse 14. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? Meaning, we ought to be in one mind to send brothers in other cities or in other states, in other cities or in other states, to preach the gospel, to wake up more people, to wake up more brothers and sisters. Brother David Way says, has for 2025 years so far all dead ahead, same book stories? Well, let's see something very. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. So we all know that that is part of life. That is life, my dear brother. So what we ought to do, we ought to make sure that before we die, we apply his commitments in our life. Let's go back to the book of Philippians. Meaning, send brothers to other cities and other states to reach out to our people, to wake our people up, because many of our people are still in darkness. Many of our people have yet to hear the word of truth. What is truth? Psalm 119, verse 151. Brother David, where he says, follow me, no, brother, we cannot follow you, my dear brother. We are following the Most High through Mashiach Yahushai by keeping his commandments. Let's go back to the book of Philippians. In fact, John 14, verse 15 first. John 14, verse 15. The book of John 14, verse 15. The book of John, chapter 14, verse 15. If ye love me, keep my commandments. So that is what we have to do to follow the Most High Mashiach Yahushai. Keep his commandments. Apply them in our life. Brother David, where he says, Sabbath, holy night, holy truth, life united. We, as real Jews, we are commanded to love one another. We are commanded to live with one another. Yes, we may have issues within the body. That is fine. We have to deal with any issue that arises within the body. Let's go back to the book of Philippians. Philippians chapter 2. Verse 3. Verse 2. Philippians 2 and verse 2. Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. Verse 4, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. So we ought to make sure that we inquire of what is going on among the brethren in the body. Meaning, in no way, shape, or form, if you don't see a brother or a sister for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you ought to inquire to see what is going on. Because remember, we have to have unity within the body. Unity what will push you to check on brothers and sisters when you don't see them. Because we are all we got. Verse 5, the book of Philippians 2 and verse 5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Hamashiach Yahushai, who being in the form of Yah, thought it that robbery to be equal to the Most High. A bunch of people in the church, they have this garbage called Trinity, where they say that one power, one God in three persons. No. Only the Most High through Hamashiach Yahushai. That's it. The Most High through Hamashiach Yahushai. Meaning the Most High, the highest, and Hamashiach, they are two different beings. Verse, the book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 7. But made himself of no reputation and took upon him the form of a servant and was made in the likeness of men. Verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out with your own salvation with fear and trembling. What is Paul saying here? Brother David Way, we are in the book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12. What is Paul saying here? What is Paul advising the Philippians? What is he advising us today? We are in the book of Philippians 2 and verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, meaning it was your custom to obey in the old days, that is why it is in past tense, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. When Paul was in jail, he wrote them that letter to encourage them. So David Way says, ask Christ. Well, my brother, currently in the Most High through Christ, I am the teacher. You are the student. Therefore, I have every right to ask you a question. I am the teacher. You are the student. You are in the classroom. As the teacher, I have the right to ask every student a question as I see fit, or as I see please, or as it fits me, or as it pleases me, in the Most High through Hamashiach Yahushai. Again, my dear brother, what is Paul saying here? We are in the book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12. David Way, I'm waiting for an answer, my dear brother. We will not tolerate any insolence or insubordination in the classroom. I'm going to ask you this question again, my dear brother. Brother David Way, what is Paul saying here? We are in the book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12. Philippians 2 and verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. What is he saying here? Brother David Way says, I don't have a book handy. That's fine, my dear brother. What you are going to do? Open Google. Open Google. Go to the book of Philippians, chapter 2 and verse 12. I need the answer. Verse 14. For it is Yah which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. So we have to make sure that we stay within his good grace. When we have division within the body, guess what? Those issues like that, or issues that fester division, we ought to eradicate them, because if not, they will mess up the assembly. They will destroy the congregation. Verse 14. Philippians 2 and verse 14. Do all things without murmurings and disputings. That is why, Israel, when I come here, I don't murmur if something is not right. My job is to make it right. That is why if I go to camp, something is not right, hey, we just make it right. That's it. We are not to murmur in this vineyard. Brother David Way, my dear brother, you have 2 more minutes, my dear brother. 2 more minutes. I need the answer for Philippians 2 and verse 12. What is Paul saying here, my dear brother? It is 10:45, by 10:47, my dear brother. I need the answer. What is Paul saying here in Philippians 2 and verse 12? Remember, this is a classroom. Once you come in this classroom, we agree if you have any contention. But that contention is to be according to what we are teaching. Meaning that voice your disagreement with it, which is fine. At the very same time, we ask that you are respectful. As the teacher, if I ask a question, I expect an answer from you. That's it. Today is a new day. Philippians 2 and verse 14. Do all things without murmurings and disputings. Verse 15. That ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of Yah, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. We are a lamp that is shining. We are stars that are shining. Meaning people are seeing our good works. People are seeing that we are keeping the commandments of Yah. Matthew 5, verse 16. Let's see what the most Matthew 5, verse 16. The book of Matthew, the 5th chapter, and the 17th and the 16th verse. Yes. Matthew 5, verse 16. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So if we call ourselves Israelites, we call ourselves Jews, we ought to be in one mind. We ought to be in one accord, meaning that when it comes to the keeping of the commandments of Yah, there should be no dissension. We are all to be in agreement with that. Let your light so shine before men. The light is the commandments, the law. Let Hamashiach shine in you, meaning that while be a true follower like Hamashiach, do our best to stray away from sins. Do our best to apply the commandments in our life to the best of our ability. Let's go back to Philippians. Paul wrote the Philippians while he was in jail. And he exhorted them to be in one accord, to be in one mind. Meaning to have unity within the assembly, to have unity within the church, to truly love one another. The book of Philippians, chapter 2, and verse 16. Verse 19. Philippians 2 and verse 19. But I trust in the Adon Hamashiach to send Timotheus shortly unto you, that I also may be of good comfort when I know your state. What is Paul saying here, brother Tamid? We are in verse 19. What is Paul saying here to the Philippians? But I trust in the Adon Hamashiach to send Timotheus shortly unto you, that I may also be of good comfort when I know your state. So Paul cared about the Philippians. Now, my question to all 8 of you, do you really care about one another? Do you care about Brother Donizio Tamid? Do you care about Elder Emram Israel? Do you care about the elders of the Land of Zion? Do you care about your fellow brothers and sisters who are currently part of the Land of Zion? That is my question to you. Because saying you care by a word of mouth is nothing, but your actions will prove it, because actions speak louder than words. Philippians chapter 2, verse 19. But I trust in the Adon Hamashiach to send Timotheus shortly unto you, that I also may be of good comfort when I know your state. Verse 20. For I have no men like-minded who will naturally care for your state. So meaning that Timothy cared about the people of Philippi. Timothy, he loved the Philippians. Verse 24. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 23. Him therefore I hope to send presently, so soon as I shall see how it will go with me. But I trust in the Adon that I also myself shall come shortly. So Paul says, you know what, I trust in Yahweh Mashiach that the Most High Mashiach will allow me to come to see you. What he's saying is that he believes that the Most High Mashiach if it is his will free him from his bondage to go and see the people of Philippi. Verse 24, but I trust in the advance that I also myself shall come shortly. Yet I suppose it necessary to send to you Epaphroditus, my brother and companion in labor. Epaphroditus, he was the one that got the money from the Philippians. He got gifts from the Philippians, and he went to see Paul. He went to check on Paul while Paul was in jail. Now, what happened to him at that time? Let's see. But your messenger and he that ministered to my wants. Verse 26, for he longed after you all and was full of heaviness because that he had heard that he had been sick. So he got sick. Epaphroditus got sick. Verse 27, for indeed he was sick nigh unto death. But Yahweh had mercy on him. So if you are doing the work, you are in one accord with your brothers and sisters. If you are sick, the Most High can heal you. Epaphroditus was sick. The Most High healed him. He was sick. He almost died from his sickness. Verse 27, for indeed he was sick, nigh unto death, meaning that close to death. But the Most High had mercy on him, and not on him only, but on me also, lest I should have sorrow upon sorrow. So, being that Paul was happy for that way, because the Most High didn't allow this to happen to brother Epaphroditus. Brother Donis Otamin says, Paul is saying that Timothy will bring back good report about the brothers in Philippi. So meaning that with Timothy will give him report about how they are. Because remember, Timothy loved them as well. So he will know their state. Because Timothy will relay the message to him. So when we ask you to come visit the Light of Zion, we don't just ask you because we want to ask you. No, we ask you because, hey, we see it in here. Paul says that I want to see you as well. I shall see you as well. I see that 7 of you are watching. 7 of you are watching. In Yahushua Mashiach, on the 31st of March, we are going to keep the feast of Passover. Meaning we will start the feast of unleavened bread on the 31st of March, 2026. All of you are invited. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy 16, verse 16. Because the Most High says we are to be of one mind, to be in one accord. Meaning that we should be in unity. The Light of Zion is going to host the Lord's Passover on the 31st of March, 2026. You must be on site. You have to be on site. Deuteronomy 16, verse. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 16. Let's see what the Most High says. Let's see what the highest, through the wood of David, comments us. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Most High, thy power. He says, the Most High, thy power. So in that book, Moses identifies the highest, Yahweh, as our own power. Because we belong to him. We are his people. We are the chosen ones. In the American media right now, they are talking about who are the chosen ones. Guess what? Those of you who are watching, and those of you who will be watching later on, we so-called blacks, descendants of the male slaves, so-called Hispanics, descendants of the male Indians, we Native Americans, and we Seminole Indians, we are the chosen ones. We are the sons of Jacob. We are the chosen ones. We are the real Jews. Sister Mina Israel, shalom, mighty sister. Welcome to class. Sister Mina Israel shows up on time. Sister Mina Israel shows up on time. For the 31st of March, we are going to keep the feast. We are going to keep the Passover, which is the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. 7 of you are watching. How many of you will be in attendance in the room with the Light of Zion, with your brothers and sisters from the Light of Zion? How many of you will be in attendance? How many of you will be on site? Well, Sister Mina says, I was listening, just cleaning as usual while I was listening. Hey, shalom, my dear sister. Shalom, shalom, shalom. 7 of you are watching. We want to know, among all 7 of you, who will be in attendance? Meaning, physically, who will be physically with us that day? Why? The book of Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Most High, thy power, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread. So for us, the place that the Most High allows us to book is on 6800 Sunset Strip in Sunset, Florida. This is where we are going to be, in Sunrise, Florida. 6800 Sunset Strip in Sunrise, Florida. This is where we will be. This is where we will hold the Lord's Passover on the 31st of March. The colors are white, black, and gold. This feast, for us, the Passover is in Israel. I can say that among all the camps, Passover is the highest. holy day. So we have the big three. Feast of unleavened bread is among the big three. Feast of unleavened bread, Feast of Weeks, and Tabernacles. These are the big three. It is 11:05. We are almost done. Almost done. Let's go back to Philippians. So this class, unity and division within the church, part 1. In Yahshua Mashiach, we will go over part 2 next week. Because among the Philippians, there was a major issue between Sister Sentaki and another sister, Judias. These two, they had issues with among themselves. So when you come into the truth, you ought to know how to deal with brothers and sisters. In fact, this will be a good exercise for you to develop your social skills. Deuteronomy 16, verse 16. Let us read that again very quick. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 16. Three times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Most High, thy power, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles. And they shall not appear before the Most High empty. Guess what? All of you are invited. If you have any question, call the chief minister at 954-279-7093. If you are able to take part in that feast, you ought to be on site. This is part of our oneness, for us to be in one accord, for us to be like-minded. Philippians 2. I sent him, therefore, the more carefully, that when ye see him again, ye may rejoice, and that I may be the less sorrowful. Receive him, therefore, in the other one with all gladness, and hold such in reputation. Because for the work of Yah, he was nigh unto death, not regarding his life, to supply your lack of service toward me. So that is what we need in the truth. Brothers and sisters that are really about the work. Brothers and sisters who are acting the same way Timothy was acting, the same way Paul was acting, the same way our sister Phoebe was acting. Why? Because our sisters are needed in the truth as well. Our sisters have their spot in the vineyard as well. Let's see Sister Phoebe very quick. Sister Phoebe. Let's see how she was behaving. Romans 16 is a good chapter. Romans 16, very quick. Romans 16, verse 1. I commend unto you Phoebe, our sister, which is a servant of the church. Remember, we are servants of Yah. We are working to further the gospel. We are working, we are applying the laws of Yah to make sure that we have a spot to rule with Hamashiach Yahawashai. Working out our own salvation with fear and trembling. Verse 1, I commend unto you Phoebe, our sister, which is a servant of the church, which is at Cenchrea, that ye receive her in the Adon, as becometh saints, and that ye assist her in whatsoever business she hath need of you. For, meaning because, she hath been a succorer of many, and of myself also, meaning that she has been helping a lot of people, including Paul. So it is up to you, Israel. If you want to be a spectator, it is up to you. But if you want to be a worker in the field, it is up to you as well. If we are workers in the field, we are to be of one mind, one spirit. Let's go back to the book of Philippians. Euodias and Syntyche, they had issues. So we will see that next week in Yahshua Mashiach Yahawashai. Philippians 2 and verse 2. Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. So have unity within the faith. Have unity within the congregation. Have unity within the assembly. Do not allow any division to mess us up. Do not allow any division to destroy the congregation. Psalm 72 and verse 18. Shalom to all of you. Shalom, 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 shalom. Many of you may have seen that we move a border from the chat. Why? Because we believe in respect. We should converse with one another with respect. That's the way it is. That is part of life. Being respectful will take you very far in life. The book of Psalm, chapter 72 and verse 18. Blessed be the most high power, the power of Israel. The power of our dear brother Israel Tamid. Blessed be the most high power, the power of Israel. The power of our dear brother David Way. Blessed be the Most High power, the power of Israel, the power of our dear Elder Masha. Blessed be the Most High power, the power of Israel, the power of our dear sister, Sister Mina Israel. Blessed be the Most High power, the power of Israel, the power of our dear Elder Emrem Israel. Blessed be the Most High power, the power of Israel, the power of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Blessed be the Most High power, the power of Israel, the power of our dear Elder Benjamin from the land of Zion. Blessed be the Most High power, the power of Israel, the power of our dear sister, Sister Deborah Dennis in Chatham, Massachusetts. Blessed be the Most High power, the power of Israel, the power of our dear sister, Sister Deborah Dennis in the city of Chatham, of the great state of Massachusetts. My dear sister, we love you. Know that here at the land of Zion, you are the family. Shalom to all of you. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Know that the land of Zion, we are here to serve you. We are servants of Yah through HaMashiach Yahawashi, and also to serve you, our fellow brothers and sisters. Thank you, brother, during the time. Thank you, my dear brother. Yes, everything has to be done with decency and order. I want you to know this. If you donate to the land of Zion, you are welcome to call and inquire about what we did and what we are doing with your money. Here, giving the phone numbers of the elders for you to inquire about your donation is not bad. Because remember, we ought to be transparent to you. We ought to be transparent in what we are doing. We ought to be transparent in everything that we are doing for the Most High through HaMashiach Yahawashi, because we are servants at the behest of Yah through HaMashiach Yahawashi, and also we are your servants. Therefore, we ought to serve you effectively and efficiently. For this movement to move forward, we do need your help. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 20, verse 35. Acts 20, verse 35. Now, in verse 35, in the last part of that sentence, HaMashiach is speaking. Let's see what HaMashiach advises us. HaMashiach advises us on something that is very profound. Let's see what he says. Acts 20, verse 35. I have shewed you all things, how that so laboring ye ought to support the weak. Whether they are weak physically or spiritually, it is our job to make sure that we are there for them. And to remember the words of the Adon HaMashiach, how he said, now Paul is saying, Luke is saying what HaMashiach said. Luke was a physician. Luke, the Most High through HaMashiach, inspired him to write the book of the Acts of the Apostles. How he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. So Israel, as much as you can, or as less as you can, donate to this ministry via Cash App at $THEELOZ. Also, via Zelle at help and group at gmail.com. Help and group at gmail.com. 1 John or 3 John 1 and 2. No, Psalm 133. Psalm 133 and then 3 John. The book of Psalm, chapter 133. A song of degrees of David. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that went down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there Yahweh commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Bahashem, Amashiach Yahawashai, Tawada Samyad, Amen. 3 John 1 and 2. The book of 3 John, verse 1. The elder unto the well-beloved Gaius, whom I love in the truth. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your word. O Most High, please make us live in one accord, to be like-minded in the keeping of your commandments, to be like-minded in the furtherance of the gospel, to be like-minded in upholding the brotherhood and the sisterhood, plus the fellowship that we have here at the Light of Zion, and those that are part of other camps as well. Heavenly Father, we are your children. Please, during this new week, keep us safe. Send Hamashiach Yahawashai to encamp around us to provide us with the security and the safety that we do need in you via him. O Most High, we are your servants. Speak, we are listening. Give us a new spirit to stray away from sins, a new spirit to uphold unity within the nation, within the churches that are doing their best to keep your laws. We pray and praise you through the root of David, the bread of life, the other one, Shiloh, Hamashiach Yahawashai. Shalom, shalom, Yahshua, all praises to Yahshua Hamashiach. Remember, on the 31st of March, you have to, and you should be on site. Do your best to be on site at this location, to be on site, to be present at this location. 6800 Sunset Strip, Sunrise, Florida. Shalom to all of you. May Yahshua Mashiach bless you all. Shalom to Sister Mina. Shalom to Brother Donizio Tamid. Shalom to all of you. From Yahshua, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Shalom.